Welcome back. Joining us virtually right now, we have familiar face, friend of the show, Ainsley. Thank you so much for being here with us virtually today.
Thank you for having me. I love the show so much. I love to be here.
Well, we love having you. And so we were talking, I was filling you in during the break. We've been doing this kind of women's history series. We've been talking to some very powerful women each week. And I'm so excited that you're here today because I feel like you're an Enneagram coach. You yourself are an author. And I feel like what you do on a day-to-day basis is empower women and build confidence. So let's talk about that for a second. Why do you think it's so important that we uplift each other as women in the community?
Oh my gosh. I think it's important because I feel like there's so much that we can really do to change the world. And it starts with our lives, right? It starts with
Hmm.
our individual lives. And one of the most beautiful things that I have seen with women is how they really are amazing at linking arms, building friendships, building bonds, and really just encouraging each other to reach our full potential, to be the people that we dreamed about whenever we were younger. And I think it's really beautiful that we can do that for each other, and we can be that support system for one another.
Yeah, and I think that's incredible too that we can be that support system. And you mentioned a little bit about kind of finding your full potential. You're an Enneagram coach, so you kind of help people do that on a day-to-day basis. Why do you think it's so important that we take a minute, figure out who we are, and then use that gift to help others?
Oh my gosh, that is probably one of the biggest tools that I feel like that I've been able to use to build a bridge of communication with other people. And not only does that build the bridge of communication, but it really fosters empathy and understanding. So any kind of conflicts or anything like that is so much easier to address,
Hmm.
get over, and then be able to empathize with one another, understand where the other person is coming from, and move forward together than probably any other tool in my life personally. I think that that is one tool, the Enneagram, just the self-awareness piece on
Hmm.
how can I be better to serve better is just absolutely life-changing in my life.
Yeah. And as you've been kind of coaching people through finding their Enneagram, how have you seen that kind of build confidence in people?
The most amazing thing happened. I had a coaching session. It's going to be a 12-week kind of sequence, and we just had one session. And I get a text from the girl, and she was like, "I can't tell you how much better I feel just after one session. I feel like I just have a renewed hope."
Hmm.
And that is what is just amazing to me. It's so encouraging that we really are craving a unity and understanding and a belonging. And I
Hmm.
think that we can provide that for one another. And the Enneagram, partnered with that self awareness and the journey that it takes you on, is really, really key in that. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, and I want to talk about your book for a second too. Don't Date a Boo Boo Dude. You were on the
Yeah.
show to kind of talk about that, but I love the book because it feels like you're that bigger sister. Be like, hey, you're worth more than this. Here, like, why is that so important that people see their worth? What made you want to write that book?
Oh my gosh, I my hope was that people could, avoid some of the mistakes that I made along the way in order to really reach the fullest potential quicker, find their confidence a lot sooner than I did so they are able to move forward with their calling, to move forward with their passions and find that sense of fulfillment that is within them. Absolutely. It is in there. We just have to kind of find it and
Hmm.
answer some questions along the way in order to get there. The book and all of everything that I do, really from coaching to writing and everything, is always to serve the next girl in becoming the most healthy and vibrant version of herself.
And Ainsley, what was that process like for you? That journey to get your confidence to where it is right now?
Oh my gosh. I do think that it's a never ending journey. I think that it's not just a one time thing, but one of the first things that I really did was identified limiting beliefs. I
Hmm.
identified what lies I might have been believing, what were kind of tying me up along the way. And then I moved forward with what inspires me.
Hmm.
That is how I can kind of create that movement towards the healthiest version of myself. And then the last thing I did was I looked at history. I looked at the moves that women made in history, and I took that inspiration and I was like, I'm going to make history one day. And I hope that every woman feels that way.
I love that. And that's such a great reminder, too, to look back at the women that came before us and see how they kind of were the movers and shakers. Ainsley, I have so appreciated our time together today. If people at home want to learn more about your book and your Enneagram coaching, how can they?
Yeah, they can head to AinsleyBritain.com, or they can catch me on Instagram at AinsleyB.
Ainsley, thank you so much for joining us and catching up with us today.
Thank you.
Of course. If you at home want to learn more, head to KLAF.com. Right now, let's check in with Adam Olivier.